And welcome back to another episode of the Geek Centurions. It's me, your boy Eli,
It's me, Joe.
and we're here to talk about. Oh, and we got Daniel. That's right.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, it's you. Sorry, it's been a while since I've been here, so
it
I might have
has.
forgotten what y'all
You
look
got a
like.
haircut.
Yeah, yes, I did.
I need to get a
but
haircut.
but yeah, it's been a while, but great to be back. It's me, Daniel. If you don't know me,
Yeah, and it's that time of year again. We all come together to celebrate a certain thing, have ourselves a joyous moment.
Hanukkah?
No,
Oh.
it's the Game Awards.
Oh. That makes way more sense for us.
Yeah. Because it's we've been doing it for now. Usually the way we do it, so we give our thoughts on certain the categories, which one we think is going to win, and what potential reveals are going to be at the Game Awards. And yeah, so we just go through it. We don't go through all the categories because we're going to be here forever, and we do not want to be here forever.
And there's just some categories that I feel like, at least for us, we don't have that much sway in. Like, most of the esports categories, like, I don't know, like, some of those are like, they're kind of like easy to predict. Like, best esports game, like, realistically, it's got to be League or, um,
Some dumb thing.
yeah.
if you really want to know, our best esports event would be Evo, and then I don't know about y'all guys, but for me, best content creator goes to Nabillion. He's no longer on Twitter giving us all the
Oh no,
good
yeah, he
video game news
automatically wins.
anymore.
Everyone loves that guy.
Yeah, no, thank you for your service, Nabillion. We miss you.
Mm-hmm. And so we're gonna get started on our first category. Joey, what is our first category?
Let's go with um sort of the I guess the main event one, the game of the year.
Oh, so we're going hard.
Yeah, let's start with game of the year. Uh,
All right.
category the nominees: A Plague Tale: Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War: Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
All right, so those are our nominees. Obviously, one of them is very interesting considering it's just a game that just recently came out. Um, but I might say it's not my pick though. So obviously, God of War literally just came out like a week or two after the announcement. Which did anyone else find that weird?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it's kind of normal because the same thing happened before. Like I think Death Stranding came out in November, like a little, and not too long before the Game Awards, nominees were announced or anything like that.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, because I feel like it depends on certain things. Because I know, like obviously back in 2018, Smash Ultimate came out, but it wasn't nominated for any awards because it came out literally this like the day before, like after the Game Awards, or like on the day of the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't up for anything until 2019. So like usually there is like
Yeah,
a
I
cutoff
feel like the
point.
rule is that as long as you're in November, it's fine. But once it's December, it's cut off till next year.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the rule. Like it's a similar thing that happens, I think, in a lot of award shows. Like I know the Oscars kind of have that, where like there's a certain cutoff point,
Mm-hmm.
like when you have to do the Oscars because they're like in February. Like I think once it hits December, like for movies and stuff, like you can't be nominated for an Oscar or something like that. But yeah, that's sort of like it makes sense in a weird way. And yeah, speaking of which, God of War is definitely been getting a lot of praise. Sequel to a
It deserves the praise.
yeah, it
I,
does.
I just finished God of War Ragnarok, and storytelling is amazing. The acting in there is great. Christopher Judge does a great job. Portraying Kratos, and not just him, but the other actors as well. I don't have their names off of my head, but I know the actors that did Freya was amazing. The guys that did Brock and Sindri, they were great as well.
Mm-hmm.
They all gave phenomenal performances.
I still need to play that first one, the first of the reboot, and but I am planning on playing the second one. It's one of those games I'm really looking forward to playing. Um, but if I were to say my pick for game of the year, it has to be Elden Ring. That game was so hyped and it exceeded all expectation. And while I haven't put much, really any time into it, the amount of like, I would say attention it got kind of like blew my mind because like not only were people who are already Souls fans playing it, but people who weren't Souls fans got into it, and that's kind of like I think that's the hard thing for a Souls game to be because I always felt like Soul games were very niche onto themselves, right?
Well, yeah, they started off very niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as like talk
Yeah.
about it surge and like because that was the main appeal of those games were like they're supposed to be kind of difficult.
Mm-hmm.
They're like these aren't these are hard games essentially, and that sort of builds and builds and that gets a rapport. I mean, we saw a lot of those from software games starting to get more appeal, like Sekiro, right?
Yeah, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah.
There's another one. Which one are we missing, Daniel? I think you know more.
It's a uh, uh, like from software games that earned awards because I think it's just Sekiro
Mm-hmm.
because I don't remember if
Well,
Bloodborne or any other Dark Souls or Demon Soul games they got an award or anything like that.
right,
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
But and I think also to be fair, there was also like a lot of games that were copying that for Souls formula. I think there was a like I know Neo, right? Neo 1 and 2. They're very
Mhm.
much Souls inspired, right?
Oh yeah, but like Neo, they did a great job, to make themselves different instead
Mhm.
of just being just a copy of the Dark Souls or any other the From Software games.
There was also that one
If
game
you haven't played
Surge.
Neo yet, it's on
Oh yeah,
PlayStation
yeah.
and PC.
Yeah, Surge, I think
Recommend
believe I
it.
remember
But
as well. It was a more sci-fi version of it,
Yeah, more
right?
of like a exoskeleton kind of situation.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, I feel like Elden Ring was the one that really like caught a lot more eyes than any of the other Souls games that came out. And so that's kind of my justification as why I think that kind of deserves Game of the Year. Not only is it an excellent game with an excellent music and like being a great Souls game, I think it also was able to hit a sort of mainstream that a lot of Souls games have not been able to reach sometimes in certain aspects. I'd say.
yeah. Like as much as I love God of War, my pick would be for Elden Ring as well. I've played Elden Ring. There's just so much to explore, and you think you explored everything, but the map and everything else it just keeps getting bigger. I remember like just traveling across, like the whole map of the game. I was like, holy shit, man! Like how big is this game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those games where like I
But
want to try it, but I don't know. My thing is the amount of time I have to put into it is the thing that's making me not like go at it. Right? I sadly don't have
mhm.
enough time to play an expansive game like that. Sadly.
I mean, it's kind of like a pick your own adventure thing as well, because basically, like with the previous games, it's linear. Okay, you go through this part of the game, fight this boss, and you just keep going forward. But with this one, you just choose whichever boss you want to fight and just fight it. And if you just want to come back to it later, then you can.
Yeah, I mean I've seen
So,
the speed runs here and there, so it's totally understandable why they would do that.
Hmm.
I don't know. So me and Daniel are for Elden Ring. Joe, who are you for?
Um, I am gonna be that guy and pick the most unlikely pick of all.
Stray?
No, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Uh, I've only played the first one, but I'd like to imagine that it'd be the biggest upset in this year's Game Awards that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 just ends up winning it. Because I mean, like JRPGs, that's those are always like pretty good to bet on, right?
Sure.
I mean, I get what you're coming from. I have played Xenoblade 3, and it is one of my top games of this year as well. But when you're comparing Xenoblade against the other behemoths, with Elden Ring or God of War,
Hey, hey,
it's hard to see
now,
Xenoblade
David
win.
beat Goliath. It's possible.
No, yeah, it definitely
I mean,
like
it's possible. I mean, last year I didn't expect It Takes Two to win, but they did win. With It Takes Two last year.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that is. I think I do remember that.
I think we can all agree though that Stray is really a weird choice for Game of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, you play as a cat though, so I guess that's the appeal, right?
I guess.
I mean, I can see why. I mean, I don't see, having an indie game go out for Game of the Year is exactly a bad thing.
No,
I mean,
that
we had like
yeah,
some other
yeah.
like great games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like last year we had Hades going up for Game of the Year, and Hades is a really great game. And then
Yeah.
a couple years before that, we had Celeste, and Celeste was an amazing game as
I
well.
feel like there needs to be at least one good indie game, and Stray is one of those indie games that really broke out because I don't recall the developer for that one. It's a
I mean,
blue.
I like Stray, but like when you compare it to some of the other indie games that were nominated from the years before, it's I mean it's kind of hard to see why they would pick Stray for Give It a Year, but I guess you can give it the Katie factor that it's up there.
Fair enough. I just find it funny that once again, was it Horizon is nominated, but it's clearly not going to be the one to win.
Yeah,
I
it is. I
feel
think.
bad for Horizon, man, because this is a repeat of what happened back in 2017. Uh,
Was it?
it was going against Zelda, and there's no way it was going to top Zelda,
Yeah, because it was
and it
Zelda
happened
and Mario
again with Elden
Odyssey,
Ring.
and those two were one of my favorite games of that year.
Dude, that year was amazing. We had like Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Persona 5. I'm trying to remember what other games like that year was nonstop, full of games.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad I started playing Persona 5, and I'm hoping we'll get onto 3 and 4 once again come on Game Pass. But yeah,
Yeah, they'll be coming in January, so I can't wait for that.
oh hell yeah. But yeah, I'm totally. I think we both have I'm forgetting Elden Ring and Xenoblade.
Yeah.
I think those are good choices, and I mean, like Daniel said last time, It Takes Two won, which is like the big surprise.
Yeah, so I mean, anything can happen, and in terms of like who can win like game of the year. But yeah, it is. I feel like it is one of those. Like as much as like I said, Xenoblade, that it'd be cool to see that win. It does seem like it's going to be either between Elden Ring or God of War, just because those two are like the really big hitters. Like
Mhm.
they're like the sort of like big headline games. Like they probably were like the most anticipated games of this year, and those both games definitely delivered on their expectations and all that stuff. So yeah, it's be very it wouldn't be a shock if either of those games win game of the year.
Mhm.
All right, so
Yeah, let's go on to the next category, bro.
I was gonna next category, best game direction for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Elden Ring, God of War, Ragnarok, Horizon, Forbidden West, Immortality, and then Stray.
Seeing a bit of a repeat now.
I mean, that's usually what happens with a lot of this sort of stuff. But um, I would honestly say probably Elden Ring for game direction, just because I feel like this is something we forget to mention as well with Elden Ring is that George R. Martin was behind it as well. Like he was a contributing
He
person in that
he
game.
was he was that was one of the selling points back when it was
Mhm.
announced at I think it was E3 for Xbox, right?
I think
No, yeah, I
so.
think it was at E3 like a while back when they first announced it.
Yeah.
George R. Martin had a hand in it.
So I feel like when it comes to that sort of
Mhm.
uh view, I think Elden Ring sort of probably takes that because if you're having like the guy that wrote Game of Thrones, you know,
And a lot of other cool fantasy books.
yeah, like this guy getting to like work with From Software to create a living, breathing fantasy world in video game form. That's pretty freaking cool. I think
Mhm.
that probably takes that.
Daniel, what do you think?
Uh, for this one, I'm gonna go with God of War Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the reason I went with Elden Ring is because like all the animation and stuff like that, and I thought it was just a much better game than Ragnarok, even though they're both like 10 out of 10s for me. But yeah, God of War was more like a continuation. So like I didn't think I would give it Game of the Year, but I would probably give it best direction. So the way it took the games forward,
Mhm.
because it is like I said, it's a continuation, and basically they improved a lot of the things from the original to make it even better. And it's one of those rare moments where like you play the game and it's like I don't know if I can go back to the first one.
Now, by the first one, do you mean like the original trilogy or like the last God of War game?
No, like the just the reboot of God of War, just that one, not the original trilogy.
Oh, okay. really, because
No,
like,
yeah, like I can still go back and play the original God of War games, but I'm talking about like just the last one because they just improved so much on in Ragnarok compared to what it was
okay,
before
okay,
in the
I get
original.
what you're saying now. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm on Team Daniel today. Because I'm also on the God of War Ragnarok train. Because like from what I've seen, and it's mostly I'm thinking mostly on the narrative aspect of the direction of the game. Yes,
yeah,
they're
that.
not only are they improving on like a lot of other aspects like the gameplay, the cinematography. They're still doing that like that one shot take of it that Halo Infinite tried to do. They just didn't feel as cleaner,
Mhm.
in my opinion. Because I like how Halo Infinite was doing the one shot thing too. It feel like it needed to be a little more tweaked better. But
Mhm.
they were there. They were
Hmm.
almost there. But I feel like not only did
Yep.
they expand on a lot of that aspect, but the thing also I really enjoyed was like just the direction on how to present all this sort of Nordic imagery, right?
Yeah.
How
No,
they're
yeah,
showing
like
off
did.
Thor,
Hmm.
Odin, and every the whole cast, right? It's a little different from your usual, you know, Viking look. It's unique. I think the joke I think the common joke is like, wow, God of War did these Nordic Nordic gods a lot cooler than Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So that's kind of like my stand. But also just like in my mind, the story with Kratos is a lot more interesting than what we've had in a while. I do agree with Daniel. I can still go back and play those old God of War games, but man, do these games just hit different in the best way possible? So that's kind of like my stance on that situation. Now, obviously, I could say the same thing about like Horizon and all that other stuff, but I feel like these games are this one is just like it's like I said, they had an expectation and they blew it out the park.
Right.
So that's why I think that makes more sense for me to go that way. And then obviously Daniels agrees. Joey, you are on the same boat as well.
Well, I mean, I no, I was saying Elden Ring,
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like
but no, I definitely
we all have the same opinion of why this one is best. The category.
yeah, no, definitely.
Hmm.
It's funny that once again Horizon here, but not really much talked about.
No.
Um,
Oh,
No, I completely
always the
forgotten about
bridesmaid,
it.
never the bride. I don't know if
yeah,
that's sexist. Is it?
Like I want
no,
to say something positive, but
Yeah.
I haven't played it and I haven't really looked up any footage of it. So it's really hard for me to I'm not saying it's bad. Like I know I'm sure it's a great game, like a great game like all the other nominees here. It's just that I don't have too much of knowledge of Horizon to to say like why it's up here or why it
Hmm.
deserves to be nominated.
No, you're right, and hopefully, we might be wrong. Maybe it does win.
Like
And
I mean, yeah, they you never know. Like Horizon could have a good chance.
hmm all right, so now we're going to the next category. Joey, what's our category?
uh, we're gonna be talking about best multiplayer, which I think would be an interesting discussion because we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, not the original that came out in like 2007. We're talking about the new one, like
Hmm.
the remake, technically. I guess I
Hmm.
don't know how to explain it well. Multiversus, Overwatch 2, Platoon 3, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
I have not played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge, so I can't say anything about it. But I wanted to. I think it'd be really cool if it wins. But if I were to choose a game that I've played on here or a game that I've seen that has caught my interest more, I'm going to have to go with Multiverses. It's
Mm,
just it did what Nicktoons tried to do, but better. And it's doing a lot of stuff that a lot of people have been asking for. Not only for like Smash Brothers, but for a lot of like competitive fighting game. Fighting games, I guess.
Mm.
However you choose to view platformer fighters at all. That's kind of why I would go with Multiverses. Um, haven't played much of Splatoon 3, but like if it's anything like the other two, I think it's fine. I've heard not great things about Modern Warfare in some aspects.
Yeah. In terms of I think their Warzone Battle Royale mode, it's been kind of weird, and Overwatch 2 has been stithed with controversy beforehand, and
I heard it's fine. It's
yeah,
a fine game, but it's just doesn't feel like it added anything. That's the common thing I've been hearing about it. But again, my point stands on multiverses. I'll let you guys have the floor.
It's kind of a tough pick. Most of these games I haven't played. I think the only thing I played was Multiverses, but I don't think it would win a multiplayer game of the year. If I'm being honest, I think I might go to Splatoon 3.
Really, I don't disagree
I
with you on
mean,
that.
it's a very very popular game, not just in here, but like literally across the globe and even in Japan. I think Splatoon 3 was like the biggest launch they had in Japan for the Nintendo Switch.
More than Smash?
But probably, I'm not sure. I just remember like it was insane when it first came out and everyone was excited. So yeah, people love Splatoon 3 a lot, and yeah, out of all these games, I mean, personally, my vote will go for TMNT, but if I had to use my head, I would probably give it to Splatoon 3.
That's a fair enough assumption. Joey, what about you?
Yeah. Honestly, this is one of those categories where I feel like any one of these nominees could win. Uh, Shredder's Revenge harkens back to the old like arcade
Beat 'em up.
beat 'em ups of the TMNT. So that's pretty cool to see that sort of come back to life. I would like it to win as well, but I don't know. Like I think any of these could win. I mean, Splatoon 3, as well. Like definitely improves upon Splatoon 2. Super popular. Like it is kind of crazy how Splatoon sort of started out. It's kind of like that, like a weird kind of like a weird kind of take on shooting games for Nintendo, and it just sort of exploded into like popularity.
Yeah, everyone thought it was gonna be that one weird like Nintendo game that they only have like just that one game, never sequels. But like a nice little like undying fan base right over there. To like this, oh, the seas of this game are very big and expansive.
Yeah, and Overwatch 2, yeah, it's very. It's people know more about Overwatch 2 because of all the controversies with Activision Blizzard than like the actual game, and yeah, like there is like a bit of controversy because I
They
think
had a rough launch as well. Like some of the characters weren't available. Well, yeah, yeah, like some of the characters were disabled because of like some issues. I think it was a glitch or something. Like Torbjorn and what was that robot one? It's been a while since I played Overwatch.
Bastion.
Yeah, Bastion, and then recently May was affected too, but she's back in now.
Yeah, and so it's.
I've actually heard more from like and because I'm a Gundam fan, probably that's why the Gundam Evolution, like the Gundam Overwatch game. I heard that one's a lot more popular, slightly compared to Overwatch 2.
I imagine because it's just like none of the weird dumb controversies, the microtransactions and stuff. Because I know they did get rid of loot boxes, I think, for Overwatch 2, but they've also priced a lot of the skins and other stuff in weird ways where people are like, why you like this? Because it is free to play. Overwatch 2 is free to play, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, there were some questionable choices there. Yeah, they switched over to the battle pass now because the whole loot box thing got out of hand. Yeah, and we have EA to thanks with the whole Star Wars Battlefront ordeal.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, like there were some questionable choices with the pricing in the game as well. Like I remember there's like this little keychain that you could buy at the actual Blizzard store, and it costs less to get the item in game in Overwatch 2.
Jesus.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, I think it was just a keychain or something, but it was cheaper to buy it in real life from the Blizzard store online than it was to buy it in game in Overwatch.
That's just God, man, that's terrible.
Good lord.
Yeah, and the keychain was like $5 too in real life. I don't know how much it was in game.
But multiverses, I think I was always very weirded out by the idea because I mean, yeah, it is kind of cool, that Warner Brothers decided to like do a Smash Bros version, like Smash Bros game of their properties, but I don't know, man. It's just weird seeing LeBron James beat up Arya Stark. You know?
No, I think it was weirder when I heard that LeBron James was banned at Evo.
He's like, what did he do?
What did LeBron? Oh wait, you mean the video game character, not the
Yeah.
actual LeBron?
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
exactly. Yeah,
You think
not the actual LeBron, the character LeBron in Multiverses. He was banned at Evo this
I
year.
I would love if like it was like LeBron just saw like a headline about that. Like, what do you mean I'm banned from this place? Oh, my character's banned. All right.
Yeah.
What do I care?
Yeah, it's
Let's
like
go shoot some hoops.
yeah, Space Jam. And then obviously Modern Warfare 2. You know, Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty. You know, you either love it or you hate it. But it's there. It's super popular. I know there's been issues with Warzone where they're I forget what it is. There's like
I think they said like a lot of the cosmetic items weren't transferred over to the Warzone 2 update. So like all the
okay.
cool skins you had, like Danny Trejo skin or like the zombie skins, or recently like the Attack on Titan skins, they don't carry over to Warzone 2. I think.
Okay. I think I also remember hearing something about like like uh Mike's voice chat in Modern Warfare 2 where like you can actually hear like other people's like proximity chats. I think.
Oh yeah, the
was.
proximity voice chat. Yeah, so like the closer you get to like a character in the game, you actually hear the person talking on the mic.
Which kind of ruins part of the elements of battle royales, where it's like you don't know where people are at.
Like I don't know. I
think it's kind of interesting that it happens, man. It's like, well, like you're in the middle of the Warzone game, and then you're like hear someone talking. It's like the voices, they're coming from the walls.
And that's the case, yeah. But like for me, like I've never really got into Warzone, but I totally understand why people are pissed about that.
Yeah, because that is sort of like, I mean,
it ruins the immersion
a little bit. I mean, in a weird way, I could argue it actually enhances the immersion because then it's like
I get what you're saying, Eli, but yeah, like I don't know, I would agree that it kind of enhances as well because again, it's proximity, so it's not like like back like I don't know 360 or PS3 days where like someone's talking on Xbox Live and then you can hear them clearly. No, like in the game, the further away you are, the more farther away they're going to sound, and same thing, vice versa. The closer you are, the louder they sound.
Yeah, I know that like for some people they kind of don't like it, obviously because it's like they're trying to plan out strategies, and next thing you know, some guy just comes up and kills them because they heard him on proximity chat. So for those guys, I mean, Discord is an option, and obviously private chats on like your preferred game console or whatever are also options as well. But
if you're on a PS5, there's a mute button right on the controller, so you have that option as well.
Yeah, as well. It's just one of those things that just kind of is very funny to me. Of like, I think initially people are like, "Why is this a thing? Why?" And it's like, well, there's so many solutions to it when you think about it. So, yeah. But I guess so. Looking through all these categories, I'm gonna be the odd man out and say, I really hope TMNT wins. I want to be that guy. Couch co-op. Bring it back. All right. So I guess
I think deep down we all want Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to win.
Yeah, you guys are more pragmatic in terms of your votes, but I'm the idealist. I just hope some things win. I have hope still in life. All right, let's get to.
So we take it away.
Yeah. Let's get to the big one. Well, one of the I think the big three as I would call it.
Yeah. For us.
For us anyway. Best fighting game. The nominees: DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All Star Battle R, King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, and Sifu.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about Sifu, aren't we?
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong.
It does not make sense.
Yeah.
Whoever was in charge of making the category or like the nominees for these categories must have really had either one, doesn't pay attention much to the fighting game scene, or two, just ran out of ideas of what can be of a potential, one, because all of these I feel like at least have gotten some attention, whether it be positive or negative. some people just really don't like the online for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. DNF Duel kind of died out.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
not a whole lot
that
of.
and it's an aiding game.
Mhm.
Nothing against aiding. They do a great job. You played an aiding game before, Eli. I know you have. Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's an aiding
Yeah.
game,
Mhm.
and you can see like some things from that game carry over to DNF duels. With
Hmm.
combos, I think, and stuff.
DNF Duel is very much a game that like is meant to be crazy, but it they went too crazy.
I mean, I had fun playing it.
Oh, I have fun with the game.
Yeah, no, I had fun playing
No,
the
yeah, like
game.
I have fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just think it's like too like I was explaining one time. I was like, oh, so the game doesn't take much skill. I'm like, no, it takes skill. Sometimes you can just smash your way out of it if you're lucky enough.
Hmm. I
Yeah,
honestly, I
I
remember.
like how they try to make things like simple for like non-fighting game fans because this is obviously based off like a beat 'em up MMO on I think so like there's like
Yeah, a
Dungeon
popular game
Fighters
in
or
Korea.
DNF.
Yeah, DNF.
Yeah,
Yeah, just DNF, right?
Yeah.
I think Dungeon
yeah,
Fighter Online is what
yeah. It
it's
was
called.
based off of that, so they wanted to make sure like anybody can pick up and play, and it's not just a beat 'em up, just like in the actual game it's based off of,
Hmm.
and it
Mhm.
just would full out crazy because that's how the game is, and that is adapted as well. Like I seen gameplay of Dungeon Fighter, I think was it? Yeah, like basically the game it's based off of, like it's crazy. I seen gameplay for it, and they go all out nuts when it comes like to fighting off enemies and stuff like that. So they definitely carried the spirit from that game to over here.
Yeah, because I will admit, I remember playing online. I was having fun. Like, yeah, I get absolutely destroyed by the wind mage guy. I forget his name, but he's a pain in the ass.
Hmm.
But for the most part, there were moments where like, how did I win that? Oh wait, because I can also do bullshit too.
Hmm.
So it is one of those like everybody has crazy bullshit,
Yeah.
But sadly, I think it is just for DNF Duel. It's just lack of updates. Like there's like maybe one balance patch, but we haven't got any new characters, any announcements for
The
any of that stuff.
the support for it really went down, and I think it's really just a couple tweaking here and there because it's a fine game. It's a fun game. It just needs a couple tweaking
Yeah,
here and there.
I think the only update we got was back from CEO Taku. They announced they have like future plans for DNF2. They didn't really say anything about it. All they said was like they have some plans for it, and just to keep waiting for those news to come out.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like support is very slow compared to the average fighting game,
Hmm.
but
But if there's
it's
anything I've
still
learned,
got
they'll make a
mm.
comeback. They always do.
I mean, they have a very dedicated fan base, so like they have that going at least.
Hmm. But anyways, back to what we're saying. Sifu, yes. This game is not like the rest. It is. I think Maximilian, dude, said it best on stream, and you can find a YouTube clip of it. This is considered a fighting game because there's a lot of fighting in it, but it doesn't have the thing that we all kind of like enjoy about fighting games is that we can play with our friends and go against each other, right?
I mean, I know there's a lot of arguments about fighting games. Like is Smash Brothers a fighting game? Is Power Stone a fighting game? Is
Hmm.
the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy is a fighting game? Uh, like that game plays just like Power Stone. And it's fun, by the way. But anyway,
I was
yeah,
also
I
gonna
think we
throw
all
in a
agree
Def
on is that
Jam.
as long as I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, don't forget Def Jam.
Oh yeah, Def Jam. but yeah, like I think we all agree on when it comes to a fighting game, it's a fighting game as long as it's 1v1, like a person against another person,
Hmm.
PvP. But with Sifu, it's just a single player action game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sifu is a great game; it's a great action game, but it doesn't fit the category of being a fighting game because it's just a single player experience.
No.
It's like saying Bayonetta is a fighting game, or Devil May Cry is a fighting game, or Yakuza is a fighting game, which is now called Like a Dragon, by the way. But yeah, yeah, it seemed like a weird pick. Like I I know like fighting games it's been kind of dry this year. Uh, if they really couldn't figure it out, if I was like people like picking what games to be nominated, I probably just would have stuck in Capcom Fighting Collection. Just call it a day. Acknowledge it's there. But yeah, it seemed it's a weird choice that Seafood was picked.
I would have gone even further and just got one of the more independent like fighting games that no one knows about, like them fighting herds. I would have gone with something like that.
Like I would they don't. I don't think I would put them fighting herds. I think that game came out like legit last year or 2 years
I
ago.
mean, we say that, but last year Among Us was nominated for a bunch of stuff, and Among Us came out like like at least 2 years before it actually got big with streamers and stuff.
That is true.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah. Usually the fighting game category acts a little weird because I remember like a couple years back it was Jump Force that got nominated and no one really expected or care about that, and I would have picked Power Rangers over Jump Force, and then I'm trying to. Mortal Kombat 11 was nominated again for best fighting game, and it was just for the expansion of for the I think the Aftermath expansion alone.
Yeah, but I think that's happened sometimes too because I think wasn't Street Fighter Championship Edition nominated for best fighting game of the year as well?
I
No, he's
think
right.
so.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Because they always include like every other version of Street Fighter. And I don't disagree with Daniel on the fact that I think this has just been a dry year for fighting games because really the only ones that we mentioned that were like big announcements was like King of Fighters 15, 25, I was
15, yeah.
I kept saying the 5. King of Fighters 15 and
DNF Duel
DNF Duel, you can argue. JoJo's Bizarre Adventures
is a not port, right?
it's
Yeah.
a port, yeah.
Yeah, it's a port of like the older
Basically,
games, right?
it's a remastered port. Like, I played a PS3 original. I suffered through the 30 frames gameplay. Game, it felt very sluggish because of the frame rate it was running at. But while it was fun, yeah, I would say it's like a party version of a fighting game more than it was an actual fighting game. But now when the remaster came out, they done a lot of changes. It's 60 frames, which is good. They rebalance a lot of the fighting mechanics and stuff like that. Even added some new mechanics like jump dashes and stuff like that, and even added in assist characters as well. That wasn't in the original. And yeah, it actually felt like a great fighting game. It's just sadly like the net code was kind of bad, and I don't know. It was just because Namco wouldn't allow it because then people would expect that for Tekken, or it was just spaghetti code and they weren't able to properly put in proper rollback netcode in it or something. But yeah, pretty much the only thing that's holding back is the netcode. But overall, if you just play the game offline, it's a really fun fighting game.
I mean, I think we already said our thoughts on multiverses. It's fine.
Yeah, but
it's a fun game. It's just that after a while, I just never went back. Like I mean, they're coming out with new updates, which is good. I know that let's see, Black Adam was in it, like a Gizmo, and then an actual grandma made it in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm trying to remember, like I think it depends on what is there a character I want to play though, right?
Yeah,
because I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to play Superman. I love to play Batman, but like I'm waiting for but knowing that the catalog that they have, I'm just like, who else could they add? That's what I really want to look forward to.
Yeah,
but it's also kind of like you gotta fighting the prestige. Just say something like Smash Bros, where you had like a lot of video game characters, and the fun is like, who could they add next? And it doesn't really have that, because they're gonna if they included a character that's like not part of the Warner Brothers whatever, I think that'd be a little more hype. But we'll see. King of Fighters 15, I like King of Fighters 15. I think it's not. It's not the best, but it's in the right direction of what they could do for the next few games if they were to decide to continue King of Fighters. That's been my stance.
I mean, I would agree with some people. I know a lot of people say that the King of Fighters 15 feels like a continuation from 14, and I would agree with that. With like a statement, because it does feel like that. Because when you compare like some other series like with Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, each new entry feels different, and this one it feels like a little bit of a continuation from 14. But I don't know. I like 15 a lot, and maybe it's because they didn't change that much from 14. But I know a lot of people complain about the graphics, and suddenly give it a nice graphics, nice looking graphics, and people will love it. But yeah, I would still go for King of Fighters 15 for Game of the Year. I mean, I give it a year, fighting game of the year.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think we're all in agreement on King of Fighters 15 because that's the obvious, I think, winner for it. I mean, personally for me, I would kind of go with DNF Duel because I just want to see the chaos.
I mean, yeah, and who knows? Maybe it actually gets those guys like aiding and all that stuff, like get their gears moving. Like, hey, listen, people really like this game. People are here to support it. Let's put our best foot forward and keep supporting this game.
Mhm.
But no, I would probably agree that KOF 15 is probably the best pick out of the bunch. Because I mean, I enjoyed playing it. There has been like slight issues with multiplayer for a little bit, but we are getting like cross-platform play next year, as well as some new characters and like all that stuff.
Out of all those games, the one King of Fighters 15 has a bright future.
Yes, it does.
And I think that's what I think will obviously make it probably the winner for the game of the year. It's Sifu. I mean, Sifu.
Yeah, I find it weird because like with Seafood, I just like I feel like there's a term for it. It's just a beat 'em up game. You know, like Final Fight isn't considered like a fighting game, right?
Let's you count the one fighting game when they had.
I guess, but you know, like Seafood, I feel like to me was like a beat 'em up game.
Yeah, no, I agree because like for me, it's like Daniel said, it's been a very dry year. I mean, next year we're having Street Fighter 6, possibly Tekken 8.
I mean, listen. Once we get to what we predict, our predictions for announcements, I feel like that might
then
be
we can
one.
talk about.
Yeah.
Then there's also the potential of Project L, the League of Legends fighting game.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah, and like anything else that any of the fighting game companies can come out with. But we're gonna have to wait and see for that one. I mean, we'll see. But I think we're all in agreement that
we still have no clue about NetherRealm Studios either. They recently confirmed that they won't be doing anything at the Game Awards, and we have to keep waiting.
Yeah. So it's like right now we're in the slow the slow period, but like once we get like the big hitters out, the rest will follow. Because like I mean, like I said, next year we have Street Fighter 6, and it's getting a lot more attention than 5. Like,
I mean, I just remember like I think the only attention it got was at launch and how it wasn't up to people's standards, and it just suddenly just disappeared.
And then like, and I mean, Daniel, you were able to play the beta. Hopefully, we'll be able to get into the second beta.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'll be in the second beta, but
but like from everything you've told me, from what you've played and from what I've seen, this is gearing out to be possibly one of the best Street Fighters in a while. It's doing a lot of stuff that people have been asking for and demanding for, and obviously I think that's why I'm like right now we're in a slow period. Street Fighter 6 comes out, everything's gonna roll in quick, man. Don't worry about that. And obviously, like I said, we said earlier, there's other like fighting games out there that they could have chosen to replace Sifu, but they didn't.
Or heck, just have it be like the 4 games, you know, JoJo, DNF Duel, KOF, and Multiverses. You know, I feel like part of me feels like half of the reason why Sifu was in there was just to like
fill in a spot
for like to make sure it's like 5 games or whatever. When it's like, I don't know, I feel like, you know, if it's a slow year for a certain category, just, you know, don't have that many nominees. Like 4 is fine, but
4 is a fine amount of categories.
Yeah.
Aren't there points where the Oscars has like 7 nominees for a category?
Yeah, there's a lot. You know, speaking of movies, our next category is Best Adaptation. Okay. Which the nominees being Arcane, the League of Legends show, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's not the actual title. It's just Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I'm sorry. And Uncharted, the movie.
So what is how does one choose the nomination for this? That's my question, right? Because I feel like we had other like video game adaptations that came out recently, and I was like, I'm surprised that wasn't a nominee.
Well, I'm not surprised that the Halo show wasn't nominated.
So many wrongs. That could have been so good. But yeah, Daniel, I'm glad you didn't watch it.
I'm trying to think of if there were any other shows or movies that came out this year.
Was The Witcher?
And the only thing
no, Witcher was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it came out last year, but so did Arcane.
But I wouldn't use The Witcher because The Witcher they were trying to stay more faithful to the books than the games
Fair
itself.
enough. That's
Because
true.
remember, The Witcher is based off a book.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is also true. You know.
Man, I'm gonna say right now, I'm kind of conflicted because a lot of these, except for maybe one, were pretty decent in adaptation or good. I would say.
Like I haven't seen Arcane or Uncharted. I have seen Cyberpunk, the Cuphead show, and Sonic 2.
Yeah.
Like those three out of the three that I've seen, they were great. I would have to give it to Cyberpunk.
I I loved Cuphead. I know a lot of people are very like upset, and not upset, but like bothered by how it's not as accurate to the game. Because what they really did was they did their own spin on the on Cuphead. Because Cuphead kind of has a story, but it's not a really like engaging story.
Uh huh.
While they're trying to
I
do more
mean,
like
I would
like
call it.
a fun episodic thing, like a
I mean,
classic like Popeye or the Feister cartoons.
Yeah, like old Looney Tunes
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
I will give it some slack on that. Like, I don't know why people kind of expect it to be like a chronological story kind of thing. I don't think everything needs to do that. I like the way the Cuphead show just just like an actual like cartoons back from the 50s, like the Fleischer cartoons or anything like that. It's our own small contained story and skit and all that, and
Mhm.
that's fine enough on its own.
Yeah, and it's fun
And
too. And then like, but there's still a little bit of like lore from the stuff. Like I love King
yeah,
Dice.
and
The stuff they do with Miss Chalice is fun, and when she's like the troublemaker out of the three, and like you know Elder Kettle, I feel like is much more interesting in this than in the show. The devil is
yeah,
hilarious. I love
and
him in this show.
oh yeah, the, like the villains were funny.
The villains are awesome.
I know some people say like, yeah, it doesn't look like the game, but I don't I don't think it needs to. I think it looks the way it looks is fine by me. And just got to keep in mind
Oh,
the devs that were making Cuphead, they're going for like a for an exact replica of like the style at the time, and that's what took them so long for the game and the DLC to come out as well,
I think the
because they were hand drawn all
mhm.
completely.
Yeah, I think you're right because like a lot of people don't understand like why like a lot of those like cartoons took so long to make, and a lot of people we got computers takes away that sort of like feel of it,
Right.
but they make it work, and that's kind of what they're doing. They still give that feel of it. If they were to do it like in traditional 2D paper, the process is going to be a lot longer. Like the process is already long enough with computers, but if we went to go back to that old traditional style, like the Fleischer cartoons, like Popeye, like Betty Boop, like all these
No, yeah,
cartoons, like
because
I,
I seen how like yeah, I seen how like older animations were worked too. Like I remember seeing like a small clip of how they were making a Mickey Mouse cartoon, where there was like slowly like taking a picture and then switching cells, each one just to make the whole short film,
mm-hmm.
and that is taking a long time. And even the coloring in too, because like they have like a whole staff of a team, coloring each cell of the animation as well,
Mm-hmm.
and the guys at the studio as well, like they wanted to do the same thing for Cuphead, like color each cell that they got, but even then they knew they couldn't do it because it would have taken even more time to do that.
Yeah, no, it's a process that listen. I think what is it? We're on 3 seasons of Cuphead for the show, right?
I think so.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have not gotten those 3 seasons in the amount of time that they came out. It would have taken at least like a year, no, 2 years in between each one.
I mean, how long did it take them to get the DLC out for Cuphead?
Holy shit! How long did that take?
because I think Cuphead came out in 2016 and it just came out this year.
Yeah, so like, you know, that's what you're working with when you're working with like trying to perfect that hand animation, like old 1950s and 40s cartoon
And,
style.
and
Like,
keep in mind too, this is another detail not a lot of people know either. I might be wrong on this, but gotta keep in mind animations on pretty much a filming for TV or whatever, like in general, it's 24 frames per second,
mm-hmm.
and when it comes to games,
Gotta go
it's
60.
usually like 60 frames.
Mm-hmm.
So I could be wrong on this. I'm just making an assumption myself, but it's possible that it took even longer because they needed to make sure they have animated a full 60 frames for the game itself
No,
as
I
well.
think I think you would be right to assume that. Not to say that like it's definitely a because to try to replicate that old style of animation because a lot of that stuff was like low frame rates like around the 2024s. But to put that in 60 frames so that it runs, that buttery smooth, like it's a bit of a process. I would, yeah.
So ideally cartoons are meant to be done in a certain like frame rate. If you were to go for 60, that's essentially like that is a longer process, especially hand drawn, especially considering like how often cartoons and any form of animation really you kind of have to it's a thing with timing, right? You sometimes have to like I wouldn't say skip frames but like hold frames. Like there are times where you have to do like you have to work in ones or in twos where like there's like 2 frames you skip on, I guess, where it's like I could do a chopping motion and I can do like 60 frames of that, but that's like every slow motion of that hand movement while like
Mm-hmm.
you know time, and you also have to time it right.
Yeah.
Make sure it's all timed perfectly to move as smoothly like that. If you, that's why some animators tend to like hold one, hold two, where it'd be like this, like one movement, hold it for 2 seconds, then the next one, and the next one. And there's also times where they would sometimes, now I wouldn't say skip or like cut corners, but they find different ways to like animate movement at the same time. You see it a lot
Like,
in like I'm gonna throw this out as an example. We'll say for like some of the earlier Capcom Marvel games, right? Where there's moments where like, or even in Guilty Gear Exard, where like they would slash and you see like a little blur effect. That's that they sometimes use that as like a way to make it look a little more smoother, or not try to do too much. Another example probably be, and this is one that a lot of people make fun of, but it's like technically it is an animation process. It's the Pain and Arts of Fight.
I was gonna like mention that.
Yeah, where like there's a moment where he's just like a blob. That's supposed to like it's supposed to give you an emotion of emotion, not emotion of emotion, like the feel of emotion, right? Being in motion.
Yeah.
Where it's like him moving. So if he were to do like that, if he were to do it like an exact the way, it would just take a lot longer. So that's why they do like the blur effect.
Yeah, because like people like to often like take still frames of certain stuff, like from of animation fights or whatever, or like, oh god, this looks awful. Why is it drawn like that? It's like it's to like, because here's the thing, you're not supposed to see that in frame. Like when you see it all in motion, you don't notice it because it looks smooth and effortless.
Your mind fills in the gaps.
Yeah, and also by the way, this is why half the reason. Like just one last tangent before we get back to the other category.
No, this is a good tangent. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like the whole reason why some people really hate when certain people like put animation like stuff to 60 frames is because since it wasn't made for 60 frames, you start to lose a little bit of those frames that are in betweens, and it just kind of like weird. Like if you look up like a video that's like an anime fight scene in like 60 frames, you're gonna notice that there's some weird like frame skipping involved because it's like it wasn't designed to be animated at 60 frames, so whatever the program they're using just kind of like makes shit up to like compensate.
There's a video out there where I forget who's in the video, the YouTuber is. I'll look it up in a second. But like he gives out like breaks it down in a way that makes like the most sense for people who need to understand animation. It's such a good like explanation of why those are the way they are. And obviously again that's why Cuphead is the way it is, because like if they were to do it in that way, it still would take forever. But anyways, back to the other options. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was fun. I enjoyed it. Uncharted, I didn't see it. I kind of didn't.
I for me, my opinion of Uncharted is that we already have an Uncharted movie. It was the one that actually had a
Nathan. That was it.
Not Nathan.
Nolan North.
Nolan North. No, it wasn't Nolan North. It was guy from Firefly.
Oh, Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah, because that's what you're gonna say. Nathan Drake. No, it's Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake, the obvious choice. But since Nathan Fillion is a little older now, probably doesn't work that as well. But there's a short film about that on YouTube. You can look it up. And I think I remember just seeing all the comments being like, "This is the real Uncharted movie." Which I mean, yeah, I feel like it works. Not to say anything wrong with Tom Holland or Matt and Mark Wahlberg and all that stuff, but the Uncharted movie was just kind of like, I don't know, just from seeing trailers and stuff of it, it doesn't. It was just like it was just it felt to me.
By the way, the YouTuber's name is Noodle. But yeah, I think out of all those, for me, it's gonna be between Arcane and Cyberpunk. If we were to make a decision now, see, I like Cyberpunk, but for me, I think Arcane is just a better show. I just the way it's animated in the presentation, I feel like that one is such a much more better show. Cyberpunk, I felt like sometimes the pacing would go a little too fast. I don't know if you would agree with me on that, Daniel.
I don't know. Like, it has a lot going for me because, like, one, it's animated by Trigger, and it's one of my favorite animation studios in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I still have to finish it actually, but like so far, like for what I've seen, I can see why you would think that, but honestly, I thought it was fine myself.
No, yeah. It's a more of a me thing than anything else. But like, I do think that it does a good representation of the world, more so than what the game could do, despite the the obvious lack of things that they had going for them. But yeah, no, I think I get told to see it being one of the two. I'm gonna put my choice in for Arcane.
For me, I'm gonna be honest. I think it might go to Sonic the Hedgehog 2 because it's getting a sequel, and you know, uh, it's kind of like it's kind of the poster child at the moment of like actually successful video game movie.
Until we see the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, probably the Super Mario Brothers movie will probably be wildly successful as well. Like it does seem like we might have reached the precipice point
Yeah.
of video game movies actually being decent and good and like profitable, like we saw with comic book movies in the early 2000s. Reaching that point of like, oh yeah, no, this can work. This is a thing, and all that stuff. So I think I would throw my hat in with Sonic the Hedgehog too.
That is a fair assessment. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all our categories, or do we have one more?
We have no, we have one more category here to talk about today. Most anticipated game.
Ooh, okay, this is a good one.
The nominees: Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Starfield, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
All right, okay, so the one we have to knock out, obviously, is Hogwarts Legacy. As much as wait, did that game not come out already?
No, it hasn't
No,
come
it's
out
coming out in February.
I kept thinking it came out.
No.
Oh.
Okay, my mind is skewed. I'm gonna knock that one out because as much as cool as it looks, I don't think it'll live up to the hype.
Yeah, I feel like Harry Potter fans are a bit hyping it a bit too much for themselves.
Yeah.
If I can't be a Death Eater, then what's the point of being in a Hogwarts game? I want to be on Team Voldemort, guys. Come on.
This is before Voldemort.
This is before, yeah.
Well, I want to be pre-Voldemort then. Let's go.
You just want to be the villain.
I want to be the bad guy. Wait, so if being in Slytherin doesn't make you the bad guy anymore in this game?
I don't know.
This is some bullshit. Well, anyways, I'm Gryffindor anyway.
Fuck you. I'm gonna be honest. It's a tough call. I think obviously, I think we all obviously know that Legend of Zelda is gonna be the winner. Obviously.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, it's between obviously Legend of Zelda, Final Fantasy 16 because I'm always looking forward to a new Final Fantasy game.
Mm-hmm.
Starfield. I wanna like that game, but I know nothing about it.
Well, they did that reveal earlier for E3.
Yeah,
And I guess you were more interested in like the plot aspect of it.
Yeah, I love the fact that I can do basically anything I want. But like, what's going on with the world? What's going on?
It's Skyrim, but in space. You don't like
Yeah,
that?
there's also like one thing is that it's one of the things where Bethesda's got to win me back, man. They've I mean, don't get me wrong, they made some good games, but they've also screwed over a lot of people. So I
Yeah,
kind of.
it's Bethesda, so I would be a bit cautious about it as well.
Mm-hmm. So if I were to put my 2 cents into the ring, I I'm gonna have to go with Legend of Zelda because Breath of the Wild, we all agreed, great game. There's some people who don't agree with that statement. That's fine, but I really enjoyed the game. I'm excited for the sequel. I'm excited to see where this world goes.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I feel like no, I definitely I think agree that the Legend of Zelda probably wins it, but I would make a very good argument that Resident Evil 4 is definitely a contender. Mainly because Capcom's been pretty good at like remaking a lot of the older Resident Evil games. I know RE2 remake was well loved. The Resident Evil 3 remake was pretty solid, although I think people had some issues with it a little bit. I kind of forget if there was controversy with
I
that
think
or
Dan
not.
might know the answer.
Let's see. I'm sorry. Could you read it? What was the issue again that you're saying?
No, Resident Evil 3, like it came out and it was generally well received, right?
I mean, personally, I think it was all right,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I feel like it was obviously just to cash in on after RE2 and try to capture the same success with 3 because there was so much things from the original that they cut off from the game,
Right. Yeah,
and
I think
that
that's
kind of
that was
disappointed
what
me
it
too
is.
because like yeah, I was like, hey, you made it to the clock tower, but you don't go in and actually explore the clock tower itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I mean, the only good thing that got cut off was the water sample puzzle. I hated doing that back on the original, and that's the only thing I'm glad it didn't came back.
all right. But I feel like Resident Evil 4 definitely has a contention here. You know, like it is one of the most. I think it's like the most popular Resident Evil game. You know, like it's been re-released so many times. So for it to get like an actual fully like dedicated remake, like I feel like that's gonna blow some people away.
Here's my
I mean, I
question
would
though.
agree too. I mean, like you could parry a chainsaw.
Yeah, I know I heard of this such things, but here's my thing, right? If it comes out for the Switch, right, which I think it will I get a Switch chainsaw controller?
Probably not, because it's gonna be in the cloud.
Yeah,
Damn it!
it's a not a great experience, but yeah, I think most anticipated game. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things. Daniel, what are your thoughts?
I'm excited for Final Fantasy 16. I'm excited for RE4. I'm excited for Zelda. But if I had to pick who would win, it would be Zelda. And if I were to pick with my heart, it would be Resident Evil 4.
All right.
Those are like all fair enough assessments. So it's really like up in. It's really gonna be it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah, because for
All those games I'm kind of looking forward to.
all of those games are definitely like very very much they're definitely anticipated. They have a lot of stake to them and stuff. But yeah, I think that's all the categories we're going to be talking about today. But I guess we'll do a quick round of predictions before we wrap up.
I believe we will be getting a trailer for Street Fighter 6, especially since the next week is going to be the second beta test.
Do you have a character in mind?
So I think it's gonna. So clearly, like the last one, the last character reveals were like what, World Warriors.
Yeah.
So I think what was that, the World Warriors, the new challengers? No.
Like, no, wait, are you talking about Street Fighter 2?
Yeah.
No, the last one was Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers on Switch.
No. But like, okay, you know how there was an updated version of Street Fighter 2? It was like Street Fighter 2, the World Warriors, and it was like new challenger or like something in between those. Super Street Fighter, I think
Like,
was
yeah,
it?
it was like the new challengers, yeah.
Yeah. So, because in my mind, I think they're gonna reveal like Cammy, that one T-Hawk looking girl, because they're
Oh,
both,
Lily.
yeah, and then like a couple, and maybe those two characters, or maybe some like characters that would fill in the same spots as the as well, DJ's in there too, so maybe DJ as well, and then like a character that fills in the spot that was for. Wait, it was Cammy, DJ, T Hawk. Who am I missing?
Um, yeah, I'm trying to. Was was Bison playable
I
at
don't
that
know if I
point?
want to name this character because there is leaked art of this character, but he's not confirmed for. He's not confirmed to be in the starting roster of the game. So I don't know if it will come out later as DLC. So I don't want to get us in trouble or say like who this person
Yeah, I
is.
know who you're talking about. I'm just trying to remember who's in her.
I
But
don't,
those are the
I
ones I
don't know why they
think.
would pick that person though. Like
Yeah,
all I'll say is like it's from Street Fighter Five, and it's just a bizarre choice because like the new DLC characters for Street Fighter Five they weren't that interesting.
yeah. Sabaga Saga.
Like Falk for example. Like I didn't like Falk.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's Fei Long. I was thinking of Fei. Oh, we won't see a Fei Long.
Maybe in the DLC.
Maybe
Maybe.
DLC. Oh, yeah, it's been a while. We bring back Fei Long. God damn it! I want my Bruce Lee
Remember I
character.
go Fuerte.
Oh, Ilford would be awesome.
Listen, as long as can Sagat come back, please? I just need Sagat in this game. I don't know why they keep putting him in DLC, man. It's bullshit.
You just want to do your
He
Tiger
deserves
Gems.
it after what happened in Street Fighter Four.
Yeah. Well, that's Capcom's fault. Why didn't they just learn better?
It's very Jesus. You're so mad.
It's why do I have to suffer for Capcom's mistakes?
But yeah, no, that's my pick. Obviously, I think we're also getting a Tekken 8 trailer, right?
we are getting a Tekken 8 trailer, but my
Oh yeah, they
prediction,
did confirm Tekken 8 will be there.
yeah, my prediction is that we will get a release date for fall of next year, and we'll get to see a couple more characters, including a zombie Heihachi.
I'm down for that one. I'm down for that. My question is, are we going to bring it back Akuma for Tekken?
No, you
I
know
think
why?
they should. I mean, it's one thing if it's just a straight up guest character, but he's actually Akuma's canon to Tekken lore now.
I don't know how that works, but sure, Harada. Sure.
I mean, does that also imply that Final Fantasy 15 is also canon to Tekken lore? Or no,
No,
is
because
it
it's
just
not part
because?
of the story mode.
Okay, right, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
never mind.
But
I think we'll probably get another Legend of Zelda trailer. Maybe something from Nintendo. I feel like that makes the most sense.
Yeah,
yeah, I wouldn't expect anything from Sony. They're mostly like reserve their own announcements for their own like showcases and stuff like that. Um, I think we'll see something more from SNK. I think we'll have another trailer for the season 2 for King of Fighters 15.
maybe show off some
Uh,
what's his name? Kim.
Kim Pakwan.
Yeah, Kim Cup.
No, King Kong One will be a little bit later. I know the new DLC characters will come out in January, so we might see like who are going to be
All right, gameplay for Shingo,
in
right?
Shingo's team.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah, we might see some Shingo gameplay. We might see who the other two members of his team.
Yeah, because I kept thinking, are they just gonna keep releasing a single character? But no, they have to release them as teams now.
Yeah, no, like they all been coming out as teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like like Team Garo, Team
Southtown.
what's the name of Geese's team? Yeah, Southtown, Team Samurai.
Yeah.
And then Team Orochi, right? Or not? Well,
Yeah, Team
Awaken
Orochi.
Orochi.
Awaken Orochi, yeah.
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 I think I think you're right. I don't think we're getting anything else fighting game wise aside from those two, the ones we just mentioned, Street Fighter, Tekken, and maybe SNK. I think maybe
RE4
Xbox might
stuff
have a.
because
Go ahead.
oh, like maybe we'll have another look at Resident Evil 4. I mean, it's coming out very soon. It's supposed to come out in March, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say I can totally see Xbox coming out with either another Perfect Dark trailer, because remember they did release that like 2 years ago now, or when was
It's
it?
been a while, yeah. Like I've
Yeah.
been wondering what's going on with Perfect Dark because They had like one of Square Enix's studios to help them out with development. I forget which one though.
Crystal Dynamics, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was
No,
it?
no, no. What's the things it is?
They don't own. No, wait. That's another thing too. I don't think Square Enix owns Crystal Dynamics anymore.
No, wait, no. Wasn't it? Wasn't it the guys that made a Hitman?
It's not them either, because they separated and doing their own thing
Right,
too.
right.
I believe it is Crystal Dynamics. I think they're still helping them out, but yeah, like Square Enix, they don't own them anymore.
Because I think it's either gonna be Perfect Dark or Hellblade. Because Hellblade that's been taking a while.
Yeah.
They might have to announce something about it. And I mean, obviously, the Dream one is gonna be another Killer Instinct game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you're right on.
They made an announcement. It was just spectator mode for the one-up machines.
So sad. So sad. What else could they announce?
I will throw in my little hat take final prediction. Probably something for the new Fire Emblem game that comes out. I think it comes out early next year. Honestly, I fucking forget.
No, yeah, it comes out in January. Engage.
Yeah.
Shit, it does come out in January. I gotta get prepared for that. Yeah, because I mean, like they've already been showing like little like teasers of like information stuff on Twitter, on YouTube, and stuff. So I can totally see them like adding some more stuff to that.
Maybe, and I can't think of anything else aside from like the ones that we've mentioned. I was gonna say like maybe Mortal Kombat, maybe Injustice,
but then you remember NRS isn't gonna bring anything. Although Ed Boon could be lying to us.
Oh, there might be one thing.
Which is?
It's been a while. I would give it a 30% chance that it might make it, but I don't think it will. But it would be amazing if they did it. We actually get our new look on Metroid Prime 4.
Fuck, that is a thing.
Yeah, unless like that's been a while since they announced it. Before then saying we're gonna restart development because it wasn't coming out right, and yeah, I mean I feel like now's the time, right?
Yeah.
Either this year or like next year, we could be seeing some Metroid Prime 4 stuff.
I know we just said Sony might not do an announcement since they're very adamant about doing it through their own means. Like, maybe another Last of Us trailer for like a Last of Us trailer for
part the show.
Either the show, which is probably going to happen.
The show, I would believe.
Yeah, which I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, like the show. Yeah.
The adaptation, obviously, like a proper trailer, or like a part 3. That's what
I would say. It's very too soon for Naughty Dog to announce what they're working on, and I don't think they are making another Last of Us. I think they're making a new IP.
They're making Jack and Dak 4.
Oh, we might get no. I think that might be like. Would you feel that there? No, I think that makes more sense if they did it at their own showing.
Yeah, I think the only game-related thing they would announce if they were to announce another PC port. I know there's been leaked info about Returnal coming to PC.
Mm-hmm.
My dream game still not up there. Please bring Bloodborne to PC, Sony.
How about a Bloodborne 2?
I would be down for Bloodborne 2, but right now From Software is kind of busy right now, so I need Sony like maybe get Bluepoint, who they own now, to work on Bloodborne and probably port it over to PC maybe.
Mm-hmm. I just had a thought of one, but I lost it a minute ago. But it was gonna be like another Nintendo game, but I just forgot about it. I don't think they're gonna do another like Mario game.
Nah, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so, because like the only announcement they really have was like the next wave of DLC tracks for Mario Kart 8, and that's already been announced and coming out soon. Like 2 days before.
Wolverine and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man 2, and then the Wolverine game from Insomniac, right?
Will they reveal it there?
No, it's Sony.
Sony, that's right. Dang. I'm trying to think of what else. Maybe.
All we can really say, like, maybe another surprise announcement from Nintendo, because I remember way before the whole incident with Ukraine and Russia, they were supposed to release Advance Wars.
Oh yeah, and then they delayed it indefinitely because of the whole yeah,
and they shelved it. The game's complete and it's ready to go, but yeah, the whole incident right now with Ukraine and Russia,
Mhm.
That's keeping the game locked up for now.
Yeah, which that's it's a tragedy.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I was really down to play that game,
Mhm.
but yeah,
That's about all I can think of off the top of my head.
really, is there one last final Omega prediction from me? An F-Zero game, please, please, God, give us an F-Zero game again. Shigeru, I'm looking at you, Shigeru. Please.
Maybe. I
Like
doubt it.
I know he left Sega, but he said he's still down to work on making a new F-Zero.
Please.
So go contact Nagoshi, the guy behind the Yakuza games. He's still interested in making another F-Zero, and I know we all want a new not Yakuza F-Zero game. So yeah, like let's get us like another like follow up. I mean, GX was amazing, so we want more of that.
I doubt it's gonna be shown because it is another Sony product. But the next information about 7.
Final Fantasy
Yeah.
7, what was it?
Rebirth.
Rebirth, right?
Yeah. Again, I doubt it.
We could get that.
I mean, we
It's
could because
possible.
I mean,
They're releasing Crisis Core next month. Well, this month actually, so as we're speaking.
Yeah. That's all I got. Unless they can do the thing I thought they were gonna do, release 7 on other consoles, 7 remake, but I guess they're not doing that. But we'll see. I think that's about
Yeah.
it. There's nothing else more to talk about. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, this is a we have to wait for the results. We'll be doing this again. But if you guys enjoy what you heard, be sure to follow us on all social medias: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the Geek Centurions. And if you're on Instagram, where we're most active on, that's where you'll find all the podcasting sites we're officially part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, all the like. And you'll find a link in the link tree, a link to our YouTube channel where you can like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And Patreon's there for any kind of support, really, that you can help us out with. But yeah, no, Daniel, thanks for being back again for our annual predictions for the Game Awards, and we'll hopefully we'll see if we got them right for the next one. Yep.
So yeah, this is Daniel.
Yeah, it's Daniel.
That's me, Joe.
It's been me, boy. You guys have a good one. Peace.